good afternoon, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and here we have breaking news after a week of ups and downs and poison pills. Elon Musk has purchased Twitter for $44 billion. Okay, so now before I start this video, I just want to remind you that I'm now uploading to Rumble. In fact, it's an automatic upload. As soon as I upload to YouTube, it goes up on Rumble. But I will be putting up one exclusive video per week. I'm preparing that for tomorrow, and it will be the results of the French election. I'm sure that you've heard that Marine Le Pen was not successful, but I'm going to discuss some interesting points and some sidebars to that situation. So please go to my other channel on Rumble. Let's do some of this alt tech platforms and see if we can get some traction there and give YouTube a run for its money, or at least give it some kind of sense of caution. And once again, I thank all of you that have gone across, have made that move, and have subscribed to that channel as well. The agreement was reached today that the Twitter board accepted his offer, and I'm suspecting that there was a lot of pressure from shareholders to accept what is actually a very generous offer. It was $54 a share, and that's probably around about 20 or 30% more than the shares are actually valued on the stock market. So it was a very generous offer, and I think a lot of the shareholders were pressuring the board. And I think a lot of people now are realizing, the Disney shares have dropped like a stone, Netflix have dropped like a stone, and I think people are really indicating with their feet and their dollars that they're just not keen on the agenda and the narrative that's being put forward in today's world. And Elon Musk has said several times that freedom of speech is the foundation, it's the cornerstone of any democracy. Now, is Elon Musk a libertarian? I don't know. I don't care, but what I found out, what I've noticed over the years, is that even people who are serving their own agenda, even people who are making money, if they're on the right side of things, on the common sense side of things, they can do some real good. Now, the last president of the United States, who shall remain nameless, he crushed the media. He coined the term fake news, and it caught on. And that one act alone, that chipped away such a huge chunk of the foundation. And you can see now, with the failure of CNN+, CNN itself, MSNBC, all of these platforms are now struggling because they have followed a narrative which is not going over well. I've said over and over and over again that the plan of the elites is not going to work, and the more it is not working, the more areas that they run into problems. The whole CV narrative is now falling apart, as we saw in my previous video about the insurance companies, this kind of stuff, as Big Pharma is being forced to release the information on what has taken place over the last 700 odd days since we've had these course of treatments initiated. And so all of this is, as more information comes out, the more censorship has to take place. And the more censorship takes place, even over ridiculous things. As I'm sure you've all noticed, that the censorship on Facebook and YouTube and so on and so forth, every time you say anything, there is a little under there from fact checkers or misinformation or Health Canada or something like that. And because it is so ridiculous and it is so overwhelming, because now every little thing they're having to censor to stop the information from getting out, people become more and more suspicious. And the more suspicious you become, the more you start to look at things. So this is a self-defeating process. Okay, by going over the top with the censorship, they're actually waking more and more and more people up, because so much of this just does not make sense anymore. And people, especially people who have to make ends meet, have to live in the real world, things have to make sense. And just as the fake news narrative caught on and took hold, and as it made people look a little bit more closely, especially for those undesirables, shall we call them, because they, when they were really picked, we've been really picked on. That's right. I'm one of the undesirables because I asked questions, and when you start getting called names, well, then you really do start to look. It gets you back up a little bit, and you go at it hammer and tongs. You start doing your own research, and the more you turn up, the less confidence you have in everything that they're trying to put forward, and everything they're trying to put forward depends on your confidence in their ability to lead you forward. And so they're creating the very hesitancy that they are trying to take out of the picture. But I do think the other thing that is going on here is that Elon Musk has figured out that where this is going is not a good direction for anybody. This narrative, this narrative that they're pushing, and the shutting down of freedom of speech, just not a good thing. Not a good thing for his plans and his future. So, yes, he's going to use this for personal gain and for personal reasons, but we will get the indirect benefit from that because it is going to crack the narrative a little further and just allow a flooding of information into a very public sphere. And that has to be a good thing. So all you need is Elon Musk to have a steady head on his shoulders and the profit motive. I think that's where he's coming from. I think that he sees a huge profit to be made from Twitter, but I think that he sees that it is to be made through free speech. When you think of it, all of the platforms that you are seeing these days are basically censoring like crazy. It doesn't matter where you go, the major platforms, whether it's Google, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, so on and so forth, the censorship is absolutely unbelievable. Okay, so if Elon Musk decides to make the Twitter platform uncensored, if he were to invite back a certain president to open up his account again, and all of those people who got banned from Twitter, you would see an upsurge, not only in Twitter stock, but the whole Twitter community. I think would come from the other platforms, the alt media platforms, and start using Twitter like crazy. And I have to admit, and I'm going to thank everybody who's gone over, to my Rumble channel, and I see my subscriptions have jumped quite a bit, and the views on the last videos have jumped quite a bit. And of course, it's not easy to get traction on these alternate sites because, YouTube has the branding. I hate to say that, but it has the branding. I have a lot of subscribers on YouTube, and I'm just saddened the way that this has worked out for this particular platform. But again, when Elon Musk proves the business model that people will flock to free speech and people want to have an open discussion where they are not going to be censored for making mistakes. We all make mistakes in conversation. When we're exploring, how things work, how we're going to change things, how we're going to rectify things. People's biases come out, mine included. And it's good that I get called out on those biases because that's how we move forward. That's how we overcome this kind of stuff. Because, we all operate under these silent biases. And unless we bump into some kind of resistance, we don't get an opportunity to discuss them. And burying them underground does not help. Okay, so we're going to pop over. I'm going to read these two articles. They're fairly short. Actually, I'll only read half of one of them because it's basically what they're just confirming each other. One from Reuters, one from MSNBC. So I'm assuming that this is correct information, that this has been verified, and that mainstream media wouldn't be putting this kind of stuff out unless there was some kind of veracity to it. So let's pop over. I'll read those and I'll come back and we'll do a quick wrap up. Okie dokie. Here we go. So here we are from Reuters. This is April 25th, 2022. Elon Musk to buy Twitter for $44 billion. And here he is wagging his little finger. Elon Musk clinched a deal to buy Twitter Inc. for $44 billion on Monday in a transaction that will shift control of the social media platform populated by millions of users and global leaders to the world's richest person. Discussions over the deal, which last week appeared uncertain, accelerated over the weekend after Musk wooed Twitter shareholders with financing details of his offer. Under pressure, Twitter started negotiating with Musk to buy the company at the proposed $54.20 per share price. The deal ends Twitter's run as a public company since its 2013 initial public offering. Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is a digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated, Musk said in a statement. Twitter shares were up about 6% following the news. And this from CNBC. Twitter accepts Elon Musk buyout deal. Twitter's board has accepted the offer from billionaire Elon Musk to buy a social media company and take it private, the company's announced Monday. Stocks up 5.64%. Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is a digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated, Musk said in a statement, included in the press release announcing the $44 billion deal. I also want to make Twitter better than ever by enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating the spam bots, and authenticating all humans. Twitter has tremendous potential, and I look forward to working with the company and the community of users to unlock it. And of course, here is the proviso. Assuming the deal closes and Musk takes ownership of Twitter, the company will be controlled by the world's richest person and someone who's been a heavy critic of the platform while using it in legally contentious ways, mostly through sensitive posts about his car manufacturer, Tesla. Yeah, got to get that little dig in there. So assuming the deal closes, I think it will. Let's hope so. And we'll take it from there. And I just love this little comment here. Though Musk has indicated that his primary interest in Twitter has to do with what he views as the company's censorship of free speech, Musk critics, this is the woke crowd, right, who called him down, who said you can't let billionaires run companies, even though Jeff Bezos runs Amazon. And of course Branson, who runs Virgin and all kinds of other stuff, they're okay, but not Musk because he has bought Twitter. So those are the people he's talking about. Those are the Musk critics. And they are concerned that the billionaire's control over the platform will result in the silencing of their voices and others with whom he may disagree. Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, isn't it? Given that he's often blocked critics from his personal account. Well, maybe you're going to get a taste of your own medicine. And see how you like it when someone just flicks that switch and shuts you up, no matter how important what you think you have to say is. Too bad. Suck it up, eat your peas. So all I can say is that even if Elon Musk is motivated by profit, and he's bought Twitter to make a profit to add to his own personal fortune, more power to him. But if he's realized that he can do that by having a free speech channel, that is an amazing step forward in our quest for freedom of speech. He said that the algorithm is going to be open sourced, so you can see the transparency, and you will know, what that algorithm is doing. Well, I won't know what it's doing, but people who understand algorithms will be able to check that out and see what's going on. And I think you will see that it will affect the censorship on other platforms when they see how successful this is going to be. I mean, can you imagine if you got DT on there, the last president? You potentially have 150 million people, 52% of Americans who voted for this man are going to be listening to what he's got to say on that platform. So more power to Elon. I think it's, I'm glad that you bought it, and I'm glad that this is what is motivating you. Now, I really like that little comment at the end there that he hopes to work with the users to unlock the potential of Twitter. Now I wonder if that is a little cryptic clue about unlocking accounts. But like I say, this could make a huge difference across the whole social media network. And again, when people are allowed to speak freely, who knows what might come out on Twitter. You know, I've said this before, that if we ever learned to work together and could coalesce around a site like Twitter, you have potentially, 3 or 4 billion researchers, and that's a lot of people looking to find answers. And if they have a platform that they can post those answers and open a discussion, that is how news, that is how information spreads. Okay, when you've got a classroom full of 30 kids, okay, and you're trying to teach them something, a good teacher will be looking for that one kid that is going to get it. And they will use that one kid to show the other kids. Okay, and that's how we as humans function, to spread information and network far and wide. And this is again why the elite's plan will fail, because they don't understand that we don't really like censorship, really. We like that open sourcing, that open networking, and that's the way we do all of our business. You may not think of it in those terms as a system, but when you think about how you gather information about how you're going to solve problems in your life, I'll bet you anything you like that you ask around, you start asking your friends, and you start filtering out information, things that seem to give you the answer that you want, and so on and so. But that's how you are going to solve those problems, and not by completely sealing yourself off and insulating yourself from all information. No, you're going to open that question up because you want to find the answer. So we naturally do that. And we don't think of it in terms of the way we systemically do that, but that's actually what's taking place. And what the elitists are trying to put into place is exactly the opposite. It's control of the entire narrative by censorship, so you can't even have that conversation. And if you can't have that conversation, we cannot move forward, and that is why the type of control mechanism that's being put into place now, every time it's been tried in the past at whatever level, has always failed, because it closes off investigation. It does not open up investigation. So thank you, Elon Musk. I am happy that this has happened, and I look forward to seeing positive changes on Twitter, not by actually dominating Twitter, but just by getting the roadblocks out of the way. Getting those obstacles out of the way, getting that censorship out of the way, get those spam bots out of the way, and let us find the solutions to our problems through free speech. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below, and in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.